Well, his name is Red Elk. He's a Native American medicine man. He's been on the program with Art a couple times. This will be a first for me, and I'm looking forward to it. Red Elk in a moment on Coast to Coast AM. Red Elk is a self-described half-breed Native American / white from both the Blackfeet and Shoshone nations, as well as part Irish and French. He is a member of the Inner Hayakawa, of which there are only 12 members, as well as a member of the larger group called Hayakawa. He is a member of the Red Web Society, which is a long-foretold last society that the Native Americans will ever have. He's an honorary member of the Twisted Hair Society. He's a member of the non-Indian society called the Rebels, made up of various planetary inhabitants as well as earthly humans. The Rebels fight to protect the Earthlings. He is the official keeper of the tunnels, the official keeper of the pyramids, the official caretaker of the flying red dragon drum, which is a very sacred drum of the Hopi Nation. He is also one of the keepers of the rocks. Red Elk is called by both whites and full breeds as the bridge between the native people and all other religions, including the atheists. My pleasure to bring to Coast tonight, Red Elk. Good evening, Red Elk. How are you?
Oh, a little bit tired. Everybody started calling when I was trying to sleep. But I'll make it through, my brother.
We'll get you through. We'll get you through. You know, I have not had an opportunity to talk with you before, so I'm looking forward to this because there are just many things, and I've heard several of your interviews with Art over the times, and it fascinates you. But I want you to, at least for my benefit, Red Elk, and so many new listeners who listen to Coast on a regular basis, tell me a little bit about you. Who is Red Elk?
I do have an answer for that because I've learned what it is. I don't think you'd understand it. But I will answer truthfully because that is our way.
All right.
Who is Red Elk, sir? Brothers and sisters, Red Elk is you. I am you, and you are I. But I don't think you can understand what I say.
I may surprise you.
Well, maybe you can. We are one. And when I say one, oh boy, you don't know what I'm saying. You're thinking everybody as a unit and all that, but no. When the Pelwin in the good book said, I am, think of this. What is the opposite, my brother? I talk to you. What is the opposite of I?
I would say the opposite of I is you.
Good. Now, what is the opposite of you? Or rather, belay that, I apologize. What is the opposite of am?
Am? The opposite of am. The opposite of am. Am not.
Hey, brilliant. You're only the third person in many years that have got that.
Really?
Yeah, that's the truth. You got a brain on your shoulders, my bro.
I don't know if I have a brain, but there's something up there, Red Elk.
Oh. But what's this, the Pelwin, the one we call the Pelwin, the Pel teacher, and we also have a name for Son of God. And long before white man that you know of came here, but the one that the world knows as called the Christ or Jesus, the Christ. When he said, I am, he was also saying, you are not. In short, my brother, what he was saying is all about him was total dream. The people were nothing but a hologram that he eventually learned to understand and work the dream so that he could do what he did. And he realized that these people are his upstairs knowledge walking around teaching him.
Now, but when you say we're nothing but a hologram, I mean,
Well, no, it's a strange paradox. At the same time, you are the I am, and I am your hologram. And everyone is now, only one. When I say one, I mean one. And they are the I am, and the rest of us are their holograms. And it's a paradox, but it's boy, I tell you, it's unbelievable when you learn more than the words, but you begin to understand completely until you know what you talk about.
Did this come to you on your own, or did you have teachers?
I always have teachers, my brother, even today.
How old are you now?
I'm 60, sir.
Well, you've got some experience then. You've been there. You've been there.
Well, I've been there, yes. But I tell you the truth, the things that I have said in the last few shows, Mr. Art Bell was, he keeps talking about being unbelievable, in his way. And I get a lot of emails and called a lot of names. And yet I know what I speak of. Lizards, shoot, he had people on the show with lizard lovers and all kinds of lizard experiences, Dracolian race. And yet when I talk about it, come on, this isn't true. But that's okay.
Well, explain that for a moment. Let's listen to you talk about lizard people, and give me, if you can, Red Elk, a description of what you mean by lizard people.
Well, the lizard race was one of two races that came to our planet very soon after Lucifer came. Soon within, time that most people don't understand. 1,000 years is like a day unto the Creator. So I don't know how long Lucifer was here before they came. But they were the Dracolian race, the Gargoyle race, the ones that look like Sasquatch, but are not our Sasquatch. They come from another dimension.
Mm-hmm.
And these little things that people refer to as grays, they were the first who, actually, I'd be lying to say that the grays are the first within that group, but they weren't far behind. To be overpowered by the suggestion of temptation by Lucifer. And anyway, the Dracolian race came down here with another race who was a pretty good race. We call them slopeheads. Yeah, that's the carvings on Easter Island represent the slopeheads.
What did they look like?
The carvings on Easter Island.
Yeah, but in terms of people, they didn't look like lizards.
Oh, no. But they were giants. They were very, very big people.
Right.
And they had a sloping head, a very tall sloping head. But I tell you, my brother, we would save a lot of time. And I do need time. There is something that I must tell.
We've got all night for you, Red Elk.
Sir, you only have, 3 hours?
We've got 3 hours tonight.
Yeah, and a lot of breaks in between. I tell you the truth. If you would go to my website and go to my links and scroll down until you can find Spectrum Magazine or Spectrum News, go there. And then from there, go down until you can find an interview. That was very extensive. And read it. You'll learn what the question you asked, my brother, far better, plus a lot more than the time really permits. But again, if you would go to my website, link to Spectrum, and check through that for the interview they gave on myself. It's a long interview. I three times reading it.
Sure, and it's all linked up with Art's website, so you can click it on and link right up to that. Do most Native Americans believe the way you believe?
Oh, no. Only 12. I'm talking about belief beyond the belief, but all of us, we know about the so-called alien races. All of us do. Probably every single one of us. And I'm not just talking American Indian. I'm talking worldwide medicine people. Have had dealings in one way or the other with other beings from other planets, and probably, I cannot speak for them, but probably with these lizards, these half-breeds, they're people. They have souls. They sure don't look like us.
I've always heard that the so-called lizard people, if they exist, were always tied into evil.
Yes.
Is that a pretty good assumption?
Yes, but at one time, eons ago, this was before Lucifer came to our planet. They were pretty good people. And eventually they got overpowered with temptation, and over time they forgot that there is a God. They don't even believe in Lucifer. He's stealthed himself so much that they think that they're God. They're a funny group.
Are they still here, Red Elk?
Oh, sure. Walking on our planet on top and down in the tunnels below us, our crest, and the ceiling of number 5, as well as within 5, and evidently within the crust and the ceiling of number 4, which are all series of giant caves, not a ball floating in a ball, but series of giant caves. And, certainly, I got a letter out in the car, and I'd love to share it. If you not the letter, I'll just tell you about it.
Yeah, I don't want you to run out to the car and get the letter.
Even if I had it, I wouldn't just read it. But this is from a woman who sent this to me, less than a month and a half ago. When she was a young lady, a young girl in the Bronx area, she and her brothers, I think one brother and sister, or maybe more of each, I can't remember, and friends. You know, there's nothing to do in the Bronx except slum around, really. And in their slumming, they found a hole in the fence to an old abandoned building next door. And they crawled through it like any kid would.
Sure.
There was a broken window into the basement, and what kid wouldn't go through that, you know? And so inside there was a fissure in the ground, in the basement. And they would throw things in there and never hear them land. Another mouse hole. And, but they got to going back and forth in there, off and on. I don't know how often. And one day they went down there, this group, and they were just playing, like she said, amongst the plumbing pipes and things like that. And they heard a breathing that just, whoa, what is that, you know? And they turned around, and there they saw, hiding behind the other pipes and stuff, a full-blown lizard being, a small one. And I tell you, this letter is so good. She was talking about how they screamed, all of them, men, boys and girls, wet their pants. She clawed her brother or sister or both, or how many, out of the way so she could make it past them out the window. And anyway, I did a time travel trip on this, and it was exactly what she said. It was a young child lizard who had evidently disobeyed his parents and wanted to see what this stop was about and had come up here. Wow. He, in my watching, was every bit as scared as they. Now, the funny thing about it, there was a fire or stairway, like fire escape, down into the ground, below the ground. Now, these kids live in apartments, and they know how many stairs per floor.
Oh, sure. They probably have them all memorized.
Right. And as a group, they started down this stairway. They got 12 stories below the basement and got scared and turned around and came out. And they were she spoke of how they would see big, huge black cars pull up. and park, and guys in black, dressed in black, go down those stairs, and they time them, and it would be 2 or 3 hours before they returned to the cars. And, well, anyway, it's fascinating, but there's other things to talk about.
Oh, but these lizard people, Red Elk, I mean, are they technologically advanced now, or have they lost all that?
Oh, no, they're extremely advanced. They are highly advanced, and they're one of the human race's worst, if you want to call them an enemy, worst enemy. The unholy four. Again, go to Spectrum. You read quite a bit.
Oh, yeah, I've been reading it for the last week.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It takes that long, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Have there ever been any reports, Red Elk, of these lizard people grabbing humans, capturing them, pulling them down?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
What do they do with them?
Well, it varies. Usually they end up being eaten alive.
Oh, my.
But understand, only for ceremony. They just don't grab somebody and take them down and say, hey, Mom, 3 fried eggs and a human, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's that way.
When you say a small one was there, how tall was it?
Oh, he was only about 5 foot, 5'4".
That's small?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, he wasn't even a teenager.
How big do they get?
Well, as big as us. Some get like quite a bit bigger, but in general, they're our size. You know, the average size in the area of 5'8", to 6'9", maybe a little bit more. And, you know, no more.
Sure.
Same coverage as we humans.
Well, when I'm trying to picture what they might look like, Red Elk, I think of an alligator face or something. Is that pretty close?
Take the snout out, wedge it, and you got it.
And that's it. You know, and almost since the beginning of time, people have always talked about these kinds of creatures. They constantly come up as one of several. They talk about lizard people that are Nordiques, and then the Greys.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Why?
You'd be amazed at what's around you. You know, the medicine people, we know what's going on. And to the white world and the so-called civilized world, we're a bunch of nuts. But I'm sorry. If anybody's crazy, it's you people that stick your head in the mud and say, you know, this is the way it is. You don't look beyond anything, but that's all right. You're learning.
Well, now tell me, why did they even come to this planet?
To farm gold, mostly silver, other jewelry or gemstones and stuff, but almost all gold and a little bit of silver, and to DNA into us.
Have they done that yet?
Oh, yes. Yes, we human beings on this planet have the DNA of every human from all planets, since the first planet was made that had a human. And understand a human, to me, I'm referring to a soul bearer. Never mind what they look like. They're humans.
You mean we're a hybrid of just about every race that's out there?
We are, yes. Our original people are the Sasquatch that walk about our land yet. Between the two groups that came here, each agreed, there was an alliance, and they agreed that one would take a third of the originals, add a third, and leave a third untouched.
All right, stay with us. My guest is Red Elk. Lizard people. That's just one of the many things we're talking about. I'm George Norrie. And what do you believe? This is Coast to Coast AM. Welcome back to Coast to Coast. I'm George Norrie. My guest, Red Elk. Brother Red Elk, have you ever seen a lizard person?
Oh, sure. Shoot, I have them over here camping occasionally, eating dinner, but understand these are in half-breed form.
Now, what do they look like in that form?
They look like you and I. But when they want to shapeshift into, for whatever reason, excitement over the smell of blood of a woman on her moon time, if it's a male lizard, tongue darting in and out, and they just, oh boy, it's all they can do to control themselves. It's a woman, they're different. They don't seem to have that bloodlust, but they shapeshift right into the lizard face right there before you. Beautiful woman, one particular, very beautiful woman. And she doesn't look too good when she shapeshifts.
No, I wouldn't think she'd be too attractive as a lizard.
I wouldn't want to kiss her or go to bed with her.
Do they have lizard tongues, Red Elk?
Yeah, well, when they shapeshift, yes, but not otherwise.
But now, when you say that you have them over for dinner and they go camping with you, why do you feel secure with them that they're not going to attack you?
Because I have taught these that they are not God, that there is a creator. Remember, all are born with that knowledge, but after eons and eons of their race or races being suckered in by Lucifer, they believe they're gods and can do any dang thing they want. So they don't believe in God. They are God. They do not believe in Lucifer. There is none. They can do what they want. And like in the book on the spectrum, they're conned. They're conned themselves.
Are they walking among us right now?
Oh, sure. And there's some full-bloods, but they don't go outside because the sunlight can burn them. The wind is too chilly because on their own planets, they live underground. They have underground, sandy. The planets are just sandy, extremely warm with little dwarf, I guess, suns. I don't know, but they're hot. And so
lizards like
they
heat.
Are underground dwellers, and that's why they went underground here, to get more to the heat and away from our variable weather changes.
I mean, do some of them have jobs, those that look like humans?
Oh, yes, all of them.
All right,
some are retired, but they're infiltrators. It's just like bringing over a bunch of moles from Russia, become an American, and then when the time comes, zap.
Are they on Social Security?
I suppose.
So they're everywhere, you say?
Oh, there's more than you can believe. More than you'd even want to believe.
How can should I call us humans, I guess?
Call us all humans.
All right. Well, how can we tell, though, that we're looking into the eyes of someone who might be a lizard?
If they don't shapeshift, it's really difficult. There are some that have that ability to do so. I cannot claim to be one of those, but as I told in the last one, when I take pictures and have pictures, and I can tell you a lizard in an instant on a picture. They seem like a cardboard cutout, but when you're looking and talking to them, you don't notice it.
Do they have
photographs? Boy, it's very definite.
Do they have yellow eyes, Red Elk, or anything like that?
When they shapeshift.
They do?
Yes. This girl, she has the most attractive strange green eyes. And this one particular guy, he's dark-eyed like myself, dark brown eyes. But they got a half-breed mother, half human, planet human, and half lizard human. And, but anyway, it's read the darn thing.
Does our government or other governments know about their existence?
I think that there are very few governments, probably only small governments that have like dictators that do not know about them. And, there's a great possibility that some of our governments are them.
In terms of pure intelligence, how would they match up with us?
Pretty damn dumb.
They are?
Yeah.
Well,
they got greater technology and all that jazz, but I don't know. To me, they're bumbling idiots. I'm sorry. I'll give the half-breeds much more credit. They're smart. But the full-bloods, I don't know. They're just runts in the brain. But they're dangerous, don't get me wrong. They are intelligent, very intelligent. But, shoot, we can run circles around them if you just learn how.
All right, but if you put a lizard and a human in the middle of a ring, who's going to beat each other in a fight?
Well, you better have one heck of a big human if they're going to stand a chance. And besides, the lizards don't fight fair anyway. You know, they're going to rip and tear like a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Oh, that's what they're trained to do, I guess.
No, that's just their personality.
That's them. You've said something very interesting when I was doing my research into you about an upcoming Earth shift. Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay. The most important message, the reason that I even called to ask to get on here, concerns this. And we are in the process at this moment of rolling over for the 5th time since our planet came into existence. And in this rollover, and there will be a number of factors that cause it, including the helping, understand, of the so-called Planet X. It isn't going to do it, but it is going to be a factor. And, well, almost all humans will die. There'll be, if my math is right, approximately 10 million on the Earth. And there'll be so few humans that if you hate, say you're a white man that hates black people, and vice versa, but you haven't seen any human, 10 months, maybe 3 years, nothing. And the opposite said, well, it doesn't matter. Truthfully, you see another human, you're going to run to each other and grasp each other and, wow, we're alive. It isn't me, we're we, you know. But in time, what is going to happen is it won't make any difference, your hate and their color and your color, and we will interbreed and become one color again and one language again for quite a while.
Is this going to be what some call Armageddon or the end times?
This is Armageddon. Is the big the what do you call it? The end result of what we're into now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
This Armageddon is the catastrophe of everything that we're leading up to.
Mm-hmm. But we got so much more to go to and go through before all this happens. We still got a little bit of time. And
well, how much time?
Oh, don't worry. You got 20 minutes here and there. I don't know, but I really don't. I give us very much less, but I stretch it at this 25 years. Now I should say 24 years at the outmost. I mean, that's really reaching beyond what I feel. I don't know.
Well, you know, the Mayans' calendar ends in 2012.
Yes. You know what that was all about?
No, tell me.
It's not the world coming to an end. It is in that year. There are so many, so strong probabilities that they literally threw up their hands because they didn't know which probabilities the human race was going to take. The year 2012 is the year of confusion. We're going to make it or break it at that time. We can stall this event for a long time if we collectively get our minds together, collectively know that we, each of us, are God's chosen child. In a sense, He wanted you. That's why He had your parents, so He could have you. He wanted them, so He had their parents to have them so that they could have you. The Creator, I tell you, my brother, every human walking being, every born one that's alive today,
yes,
is extremely important. And then add to that the fact that you are only one. Everything else around you is dream. That is how important you personally are to Dad, who is our mother, father, who creates us out of his mind. You and I, some people don't like it. I call them brother or sister. And yet we're from the same mind womb, the same thought.
Oh, sure, that doesn't bother me. And, if...
Well, it doesn't you, but believe me, it does some.
Does it really? I mean,
yes.
they get upset when you call them brother or sister?
Oh, you bet. But they don't understand. They're kind of dimwits anyway.
I mean, what do they say to you? Don't call me brother?
Oh, Lord, yes.
Actually, I think that phrase is a pretty caring phrase.
It is. For instance, when I was a little boy, a teenager, I was thinking with the wrong head all the time, if you understand what I mean.
I think I do.
You do, yeah. And that's a way of man anyway, It's, how many can you get in your harem type thing? But when you start thinking that woman, that female, is your sister, how many guys want to go to bed with their sister?
I hope none.
Well, there are a few, I'm sure. But, and then it's the girls. If they realize that's a brother, our sexual freedom has gotten out of hand because we are morally dumb. We have not realized that indeed, each of us are a temple.
Well, when are we all going to wake up, Red Elk? When are we going to wake up and say, we're all going down the wrong path here? We're fighting, we're committing wars and everything else.
My brother, I thank you for that question. And before I close off tonight, before you go into the phone calls and all that, I would like to make an appeal to our world's people to wake up. Wake up. We have become lazy. We let others lead us. Others con us. Shoot, we don't need a car and gasoline. We can shut our eyes and go. We can go to Paris by just thought. But it's economy controlled. And the governments do, and the rich, very rich, they do not want us to know or learn or call this back because then they've lost control. They've lost power. We can be in a paradise, my brother. We don't need to build a house. We can think a house. And the trees will still stand. And we'll live comfortably in rain and snow in a thought of house.
Let me tell you, Red Elk, amongst the things that you say that some people may or may not understand or believe, you are refreshing in your philosophy of life.
Sir, I'm going to chew you out for that. I don't have a philosophy. I do not deal in any philosophy, my brother.
Why not?
I deal in facts. I deal with what I know is a fact. From what I personally experienced or personally have seen.
I mean, would that offend you if I say that you're a good philosopher?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm not a dang good philosopher. When it comes to philosophy, I'm probably very dang stupid. When it comes to knowing, the philosophers are the stupid ones. I'm the one that has the brilliance. Brilliance. Boy, doesn't that sound humble.
I've got to ask
you. The fact is, brother, we all have what I have. It's just that people don't know how to get upstairs and get that knowledge out, and they do not recognize that everyday events, every talk you have with a neighbor or your children or wife, everything that you take in, you see, is a lesson, an upstairs folder that is open before you, but you accept it as every day. You don't accept it for what it truly is.
But something opened your eyes to this.
41 years of training.
In the beginning, did you accept it?
Well, I was a young child. In the beginning of this training, I was 10 years old. My very first lesson was to learn how to lift up and levitate. And it scared the hell out of me. And did I accept it? No, I landed flat in my belly from 5.5 feet up. But it was designed to do that. It was designed to show me the impossible is not impossible. And I teach how to levitate, and I've got, if you go on my guest sign in, you'll find a lot of people that are against me, and I tell you they're wrong, but by golly, they have their right to say what they want to say, and I'd die for that right. I might not agree with what they say, but I would fight tooth and toenail for their right to say it. So I keep it on the site.
Well, and there's nothing wrong with it. I think that's a good dialogue. You don't have to agree with everything that we hear or see on this planet. We have to have an open mind to a lot.
Well, what I'm leading at is, as you read through, and it's quite a bit of reading, you will find 3 people who tell me they have taken what I teach and have applied it and learned it. So far I have, I believe, 7 people, not on the website, only 3, that have learned how to lift and levitate. Now, 7 people out of thousands of people is not very many. And it's really easy lessons, but just because the wording is easy doesn't make it an easy thing to do.
How high can we levitate, by the way?
As high as you want. And you can go beyond space and still breathe. Remember, you are a dream. You accept all the so-called reality, which in truth is nothing but a lucid dream. God's lucid dream you're living in. And He's given you 2 rights, one to dream and one of self-will. And you're up there and you believe you're going to suffocate because there's no air or freeze or whatever. Well, you will, because that's what you believe. But if you refuse to accept that belief, you can do anything.
That's Red Elk. We'll be back with much more. I'm George Norrie. Keep an open mind, and this is Coast to Coast AM. Welcome back to Coast. I'm George Norrie. Red Elk, my guest. Red Elk, do you believe in a theory that there could be more than just one universe? There could be countless numbers of them out there?
Countless numbers, sir, is a poor word for it. It's beyond countless. There are beyond countless parallel times, beyond dimensions. I mean, our great Creator. He has a lot of fun, and He doesn't like to be bored. And He does things that, it's just unbelievable. When He shares things with me, and then takes and shows me just a little bite, not even a bite, shoot.
Such as?
Not even really a lick. It's amazing.
Well, tell me some of the things He shares with you.
Oh, gee. There is, this planet is going into its fifth flip-flop. If things work out the way they are, the way it looks at this time, Sweden will be at the pole, the South Pole.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And everything's going to shift, here where I live and stuff like this. This will be down in the area where you'll actually be able to see these big manta ray types, and not manta maybe, but the rays.
Sure.
And things like that. We're just going to move around a little bit.
Well, and you're in Washington State right now, right?
Yeah. Okay. And I'm not going to be where I'm living very long. This is going to be well underwater, and the water is going to creep up to the far side of Spokane, Washington. And but that's still in the future, and the Creator will let me know when it's time to go. And frankly, He'll let anybody know if you just start getting yourself right with Him. Otherwise, shoot, how long can you tread water?
Well, with all this doom and gloom, Red Elk, I mean, is there any hope here?
You look at doom and gloom. It's because you live in fear. There is
Well,
no death.
no. It's not because I live in fear. But wait a minute. If cities are going to be submerged, to me that's doom and gloom.
Well, that's to you. It's not to me.
Well, yeah,
beyond that. Well, yes, my brother might be one of those in those cities. My grandchildren, it just might be. But what is death? It's a continuation of life, and you're going to die anyway. So, you're looking at mass gloom and doom, but you face doom and gloom every minute you breathe because you don't know if the next minute you're breathing. And
we face doom and gloom the minute we walk out our door. I believe that, but it doesn't mean we have to just call it quits.
Oh, who says call it quits? Gee whiz, my brother. First off, when you die, you don't. Shoot, your body's gone. Big deal. But you go on. And the life there beyond is far better than what you got here. Unless you make it that good here. It's your dream.
Yeah, well, can I enjoy this one and the next one?
You sure can. If you learn how.
We've been working at it. We've been working at it.
Nevertheless, when everything, the doom and gloom, as you speak of, yes, it's not going to be pleasant, but we got things that are not going to be pleasant at all coming long before that. And long before that, right here in America. That is as frightening, if not more so, because it's so dang close. But in the long run, we get to go back to our origin of purity. We get to sit around in the rubble for 30, 40 years and slowly regain touch with Dad, our Creator. And he says, come on out of the filth and gloom. And here, use your mind and do this. Make a tree over there with your mind. You remember what they look like now. Think it, and then put it there in the ground.
Maybe that's a good thing.
That's what I'm saying. We start over. We haven't learned. And we get to start over, those few that are here. But so you look beyond the doom and gloom to look at the beauty of the purity that is coming back onto the race called humans of this planet. That saves my sanity.
Is there anything that we can do now to prepare ourselves?
Yes, and I'm not speaking of running around digging holes in the ground and saving water and packing meat up. You can do that, but you better have a minimum of 6 years of it, more like 8, and you'd be dang well off with 10 years of it. Can you imagine packing 10 years of toilet paper around?
Can't do it.
Well,
don't have a house big enough.
Sure can't.
Don't have a house big enough for that.
That's right. And people are saying, Red Elk, what do I do? Where do I move? What do, blah, blah, blah. And I feel sorry for them because they are in fear. And why be in fear? You are a dream in the first place. If you honestly believe so strongly with your 5 senses, sight, hearing, smell, taste, feel, that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you can believe, get it so strong, then sure, everything, atom bombs from military shells will be busting around you. And the shrapnel will go right through you. But you're nothing but a dream. You're like a ghost. You can become that. And you can become unharmed. But this is all within everybody's ability. They're born with this ability, and they lose it as they grow up. They start accepting everybody, the older people's rules and regulations and fears. Now, we do need some rules and regulations for sanity's sake,
Of course.
There's laws and stuff like that. But, my gosh, like cigarettes. Cigarettes kill. Cigarettes cause cancer. Bull crap. Fear causes it, not the cigarette. You're going to get low in oxygen in your lungs. You won't be able to run as quick or climb as quick. But it won't kill you. But I tell you what will kill you, you believing that the doctors who you think are smarter than you, the pharmaceutical who you think are smarter than you, the government who you think are smarter than you, you're so dang dumb to think that. Boy, you deserve what you get.
Well,
Listen, my brother, let me give you two words, and you tell me the answer to this. All right. You did real well on that one. What is the negative word? And what is the positive word of these two words? The first one is can't, C-A-N''T. The second is can, C-A-N, which is negative, which is positive.
Which is negative, which is positive? Can't to me is negative.
And it would be that way to just about everybody on our planet.
How am I doing? I'm getting all your questions right.
No, you're not.
Sure I have.
You're as wrong as everybody else.
What do you mean? You just said I was one of the top 3 that ever answered one of them.
Well, that was that one. That's not this one. You didn't answer this one correctly.
I said can't was the negative. You're saying that's wrong?
Yes. You are positive you can't fly. You are positive you will get cancer by smoking. You are positive. You can become a positive negative or a positive positive. You understand? Both words are positive, and that's what stops you, sir, from doing anything beyond the norm. Do you understand? I'm not saying this in anger. Do you understand?
I'm getting there.
When you're positive you can't do something, sir, you won't be able to do it.
I agree with that.
So it is a positive statement.
I used to say that negative thoughts, you will never be able to accomplish anything.
Good boy. Good boy. Now, apply it now. Quit saying I used to and start doing it. Get rid of all can'ts. I believe is a can't. I will is a possibility that it eventually, you know.
Maybe when you said can't, is it a positive or negative? I should have said it doesn't exist in my vocabulary.
Well, sir, I hope that people learn to not let it exist. Can't, believe, hope, think. All these negative things that either stop the doing or put it off for a future date, which is basically stopping the doing. Get those out of your mind. They are controlling words that stop you from making a plant grow right in your hand from a dead branch.
The moment you say you can't, it won't.
That is correct. And then when you say, I'll try, boy, isn't that a weak word when you put it in that category? You know, I'm going to try to fly. I'm going to try to do this. No, you don't try. And yet, at the same time, you must go out and test it if you want trying. But when you get in the childlike mind again, when you start pretending so real that make-believe person is every bit as alive as can be, though others can't see it, that's when you will start living a godly and truly full life.
What if I get on a 10-foot wall and say, I'm going to fly, I might fall right on my face.
Yes, if you have that might in your thought, and I'm going to fly is also a weakness. I am going to, hell, going to doesn't mean you're going to right then, does it?
That shouldn't be.
You see the little nuisance of that word, I'm going to fly, does not necessarily mean you're going to fly. It is, I am flying. And believe it in your five senses so strong, not a problem.
Well,
This is what we learn in medicine. And you know, this is our so-called sacred things. Actually, not sacred at all. There are some sacred things, but this is just secret things. And the medicine people have held this knowledge for centuries. And frankly, to be honest with you, I'm not going to make friends here, I guarantee you. Most medicine people, men and women, have got this ego, come to me. I know how to do these things. Come to me. Look at me. They might not swear, and they might walk around with a ramrod and sweet smile on their face, but they're just full of ego. And when you're full of ego, which is self, then you're out of step with the Creator. It doesn't mean that it won't work, but it isn't going to be any too helpful to those around you. They start making you their guru, and let's go over to Joe Six Feathers or something like that. You know, he can do this, he can do that, and Six Feathers can, but he can also teach how to do it, so they don't have to go to him. But no, he hangs on to his pride. They're just like preachers. They know so darn much that they're not sharing with you.
Do you think, Red Elk, if you weren't raised in a special way, that you may never have gotten to where you're at right now?
Well, certainly,
this?
That would be true, but what special way was I raised in? I was raised on the streets of Detroit.
So was I.
Oh, were you?
In Detroit.
Well, Ferndale, Utica, Royal Oak.
All that.
Woodward Avenue.
Yep.
Well, welcome home, brother.
7 Mile and Lauder. That's where I was born.
9.5 Mile in Horton.
Yep.
Oh, well, we will reminisce later.
We're closer than you think.
Yeah. But my brother, we have so many great abilities. You know, I said we have two abilities. We are born with two abilities. The ability to dream and the ability of self-will. Now tell me, and I ask all listeners, not just you, my brother, what around you at this very moment can you spot that is a dream? I mean, really give it thought, not just say, well, everything. Come on, give it thought. Give me one thing, two things, three things that is a dream.
I could say talking to you right now may be a dream.
True, but I'm talking a physical dream.
A physical?
Mm-hmm, please.
Maybe myself sitting here.
Well, sir, how about the chair? It never existed. You used to sit on your butt, your ancestors, and then it got to a log. And then somebody says, hey, that dang thing's wet. Let's make something a little better and a little lighter. I'm tired of carrying a log. So they dreamed into existence a chair. Your clothes are someone's dream. One time you were nude, then a loincloth. Then you got your legs cold and everything else. And it became clothing. The car you drive is somebody's dream. We call it invention. It is a good word to bypass the fact that you have dreamed something into existence.
Are dreams good?
Well, it depends, sir. You can use a tank to save people or mow them down.
Yeah. That's true.
It's not a matter of good or bad, sir. It's a matter of intent.
Then why is there so much evil on this planet, Red Elk?
It's called balance. Without evil, sir, we would not know what is good. Without good, we would not know what evil is. There are planets that are so good, so angel-like, they have forgotten God. They've been that way for eons and eons. So good, so I mean it, like angels. They have souls like you and I, but they have forgotten the Creator. Then you also have those that are so bad.
You mean worse than us?
Oh, the gargoyles, the lizards, those dimensional beings that look similar to our Sasquatch. Far worse than us. Yes. And do you go ripping off down the street, grabbing any kid you want to see, bite them in the belly alive in front of their parents, just for the thrill of the fear?
I don't think so.
No, you don't. Not yet. But
No.
There's others that do. But, sir, they are soul bearers also. And they used to remember God. They have lost the memory. It's still there, but they have lost it. And they are our brothers and our sisters, despite their looks. And their looks are only caused because of their environment of the planet that they live on. But they are our brothers and sisters.
Do you think there are millions of civilizations out there?
I'm not sure about millions, but there certainly has got to be close to 1 million. But then that's within my mind reach. I've never had the great honor to reach beyond when I ride the Creator's mind, when He takes me. And so I don't know how big a scope His very brain is. There could be many millions. And then consider the parallel times and the dimensions and all of that stuff. Millions upon millions.
Are you afraid of dying at all?
I've already died once. I'm going to die 3 more times. Piece of cake. I'm not afraid of dying, but I tell you, I'm a little bit concerned about how I die.
Yeah, I guess we don't want to die too tragically, do we?
No, my idea of death, prime death to me, would be have somebody come up and blow my brains out from behind without me not even knowing they're there. What a wonderful way to go. No fear, just bang in your home.
I don't think I'd want to go that way.
Well, you go ahead and get hung or fry in a fire. I don't care. You choose yours. This is mine.
How about just go to sleep and you don't wake up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but, sir, I've died once, and you do know that something's going on for about 3 minutes.
How did you die?
I quit breathing. Now, that sounds stupid, but that's exactly how I died.
And you're talking about in this lifetime?
Yeah. Yeah, some medicine people, it's required that we die. The more we die, the stronger we become. And then, Christ was not the only one that rose in 3 days. Gee whiz. Here around us, the Yakama Nations and stuff, there's a sacred circle. Oh, gosh, I'd say it's about 26 miles from me. That's when a holy one, a Wakayan, a special one that is just love on 2 legs like Christ was, but didn't have to do the work that He did. When they die, they would take them to the special circle, cover their bodies, their dead bodies, and walk off into small prayer groups away from this, and pray. And after on the 4th day, if they hadn't come walking back into camp, then they bury them.
When we come back, Red Elk, I want to ask you about what it means to be the official keeper of the pyramids. So don't go away. I'm George Norrie. Red Elk is my guest on Coast to Coast AM. Welcome back to Coast. I'm George Norrie, Red Elk, my guest. Red Elk, tell me now, you are called the official keeper of the pyramids. Tell me what that means.
Well, sir, there's pyramids all over our earth. Much is underwater, and when one flip goes, those come up to the surface and take over. When it goes again, they go under, and these take over. The Giza Pyramid is all pyramids point to Giza. One time there was a giant pure crystal, pure clear crystal, that was carved to cap the top of that. And the Moos and the Atlantans went to war, and the Atlantans carved that. It was on its way to be capped, and they brought it back, carved it into a destroying weapon like a parabolic curve, and we're shipping it when the storm came up, and it landed off the waters in the Bahamas. And to this day, occasionally when the weather is correct, the right current, the right winds, everything, this is laying on its side, and the sun hits it, and it shoots up into our atmosphere, stratosphere, whatever, bounces back down into the Russian, what would you call it, Bermuda Triangle. And it was made into a war. And when I heard that they were going to try to cap this dang thing, oh my gosh, what they were going to cap it with, if it is not pure crystal, clear crystal,
right,
they're in for a hell of a time.
How big is this?
Calling in.
How big is it down there? How big is this crystal?
Gee, I never give it a thought. I've looked at it, from spirit looking, but I never paid much attention. It's pretty big.
Yeah, it must be huge, I guess.
Yeah, but the thing is, the Giza Pyramid, it is where the main, or if you want the mother, ley lines meet and cross, and there was no mountains there to carve down into a pyramid shape. they had to make a mountain. So they brought the rocks in to place it right there at the center, the apex of this mass of ley lines. And it was a sending receiving unit, or was to be, and to talk to people of the stars, literally a big telephone, booth, but with other abilities as well.
E.T. phone home.
It was not built, sir, on four corners. It was built on a circle with the four corners touching the circle. And there were three circles. The one that it was built on was a moat, and then a third of the way out beyond the center. That was a third of the way out beyond the center of I think a third, maybe I'm wrong. But from the center was this moat that they first dug and then placed the pyramid's corners at the edge of the moat on the inside. And then further away there was a beautiful garden like, exotic trees and stuff in another circle. And then away from that, there was a huge earth mound all the way around it with a passageway through all of this. That was it originally.
I've always wondered, Red Elk, why the triangular shape of pyramids.
It's me.
Don't know that one. Okay.
But I do know they were not, the power of the pyramid and stuff like that. That's great. You want real power. Put the pyramid where the corners touch with water, and then a third or three. Oh, gee. It's been so long. Anyway, it graduates out 3, 3, 3. So say from 1 to 3, and then from 3 to 6 or 9. I can't remember exactly now. It's been a long time since I learned this stuff, and I don't pay much attention.
Well, I saw on your website what sure looks to be a pyramid in Washington State.
Yeah, well, just one of many. There's one down the road here between Ellensburg, Washington, and Yakima, Washington, on the Yakima firing range. I will not do it. I will not offend my Indian sisters by calling it what the locals call it. But it looks like a young woman, about a 13-year-old, whose breasts are starting to bud, and she's laying on her back. And it looks like that, and that is a pyramid, but it has been wind-whipped over the many centuries until it's gotten to that shape. And there's another one, less than a mile and a half from me. I think it is. I've never gotten so close that I could verify if it is or isn't.
Are those like mounds? Do you think they're made out of dirt? Do you think there's some blocks in
basically what they were hills that were trimmed into that shape. And these hills, the mother pyramids, the power source, if you want, were built on crossing ley lines. And other pyramids are built away from, usually between 180, 200 miles away will be another pyramid. And this is in each direction of the four. And on and on and on. And literally, they were towers. The more mountains, the closer the pyramids. The less mountains, like in Kansas, it can shoot over all that flat. And it shoots a healing energy. But today, over these eons, the mechanisms that work, that send this healing thing through earthquakes and so forth, have gotten out of kilter, and it's not sending that love energy that keeps people healthy and helpful, and keeps the animals and man in non-fear of each other, a unity.
Well, what does it mean, though, by you being called the official keeper of the pyramids?
Because I know how to fix them.
All right. Same with the keeper of the tunnels?
Well, I don't know how to fix them, but basically, keeper of the tunnels refers to the North American continent, down towards South America, where the keeper of the tunnels in Hyoka knows his area of South America and so forth. And it just, you kind of bleed over into each other's realms a little bit. And when something's happening down there and they're heading for South America, for instance, I mentally call ahead, and the other Hioka is there waiting, and I hand over the charge, the duty of watching what's going on. And they travel under oceans. They're all over the place.
Some time ago, Red Elk, Art Bell handled the story of a huge hole. They called it Mel's Hole.
Yeah, I know Mel's Hole.
You know about that, don't you?
Oh, sure. I was there in 60 or 61. It exists. I was there just, less than 2.5 weeks ago with another medicine man. Now, understand when I say there, I'm not going to stand there. Not anymore. Not with the black that has it.
Why not?
Well, it's a black government. And these are nasty buggers. These are half-breed, lizard half-breed. They look human. And they're not screwing around. They'll put you away in a hurry.
Are they all around the hole?
Well, right now there's only one guard there. But they have all kinds of sensors and stuff. And our state patrol is involved. Our sheriff's department is involved. And certainly the forestry department. They all know about it. They all watch it. And somebody gets too close, bang, somebody shows up, either airplane or car.
Wow. How deep do you think that hole is?
Within yards of 127, or no, I belay that, 27.5 miles.
Wow. Straight down.
Yep.
What do you think its purpose or significance is?
Well, it was originally made as a blowhole from Mount Rainier. That particular hole came up out of the earth, but, blowing up, air, pressure.
Sure, absolutely.
And, but it also connects to many of these, or to one of these many, many other tunnels. And right now, those damn lizards, they're using it to transport things to the inner land. I've watched one, and others have watched another one, huge UFOs. Mine was an orange giant ball, about definitely two, maybe even 3 football lengths in a circle. Just not a bit of noise. Just creep up at that low altitude, literally just yards above the earth, and slowly come up and settle and levitate above there and transfer things up and down. And another one looks like a giant aircraft carrier. And one of the ladies that saw that, unfortunately, I'd left early that night, and it wasn't to watch Mel's Hole. This was a ceremony. And many of the women saw it. It was a women's ceremony. And this one woman is, she's worked for years as a aircraft control person up, like SeaTac and stuff.
Right.
And she knows what she's looking at. She knows her sizes and stuff. And this is something to her. And it floated right over their house, her head, from Mel's Hole.
Are there other holes like that on this planet, Red Elk?
Many. There's 5 up in the Kootenay Mountains of Canada. 5. Really close together. Real close together.
But they would be naturally made, and maybe they're being used for other purposes?
Not always naturally made, no. The one that Mr. Mel Waters talked about down in, Arizona, they're around Pahrump area, that state. That was not a natural made. No, that was a drilling made by Lucifer when he came on Earth.
Why did he do that?
Because he wants the weather down there, not up here. He likes it hot. He walks on the crest of the center of the earth.
What's your definition of Lucifer?
An angel.
Fallen? Fallen angel?
Oh, yeah. But, people worry about Lucifer. And all Lucifer can do is tempt you. That's his only ability. And you're stupid enough to accept it. And now we're in wars and everything else through stupid temptations that stupid people have stupidly taken up.
I mean, we should have our own free will, right? We don't have to do
We have our own free will, but I'll be danged if anybody wants to use it. They're so darn lazy, sir. They let the preacher tell you what to do. They let the guy that gets up there in that mosque and hum and sing tell you what to do. They're just too damn lazy. The human race has become sheep, and there's certain people that have become shepherds. And the fact is, sir, if you could just get your act together and right with Dad, the Creator, then you are salvated. Not salvation, I'm not speaking. I say salvated. And that means the freedom to be a self-thinker, not controlled. You know, it's between you and Dad then.
How do you know, Red Elk, when you reach that level? When you're there? When you just got it together?
I'm not saying that I can answer that because I haven't got it together yet.
Yeah, but you're trying.
No, sir, I'm not trying. I'm willing. When you try, sir, you are in self. When you are in self, you are in ego. You, sir, it's not Lucifer, it's not Satan that's your worst enemy. You are your own worst enemy. Do you understand? It is you that wills to do right or wrong. You, your choice.
I agree with that.
Yeah, unless you're an actual living puppet, it's your choice.
Should be.
No, it
should
is.
Be.
And
how many people, though?
If you will let it be.
How many people walking around on this planet right now, though, Red Elk, blaming other people for their own misfortunes?
I think everyone, sir. I mean it. Think of even yourself. As nice a guy that you seem to be, there's times when it was somebody else's fault. And really, it was nothing but a misunderstanding or something like that. You might have misheard a word or not heard a word, and some quarrel comes up, maybe not a devastating quarrel, but you walk away mad at that other person because it was their fault. Grow up. Take responsibility for your own action. And what if it is their fault? Forgive them. Love them. Go to them and say, I've held hate against you, anger against you. This is confessing your sin one to another. Not some diphead out there, excuse me, Catholic, but, not some priest in a little box. Go to the person that has offended you or you have offended. You
do not believe in an eye for an eye, do you?
Yes, I do, sir, but not my eye for an eye. I'll let Papa take care of that one.
You wouldn't?
I don't think I would. I haven't so far.
In a couple minutes that I have this hour, Planet X is something that's been on my mind for a long time, Red Elk. Do you believe it's going to come rolling through here May of next year like some people believe?
I know it's coming, sir. I have no idea when. I know it exists. I know it will pass close by. I know it's a pain in the rear. It's going to cause a lot of problems. It's not going to cause our Earth to flip, but it will be a big factor that makes it wobble more and other events, and then flip, over we go. It will be a big controlling factor, but that's all. And I have no idea when it's coming.
How come we can't see it now? Astronomers can't seem to spot it, or if they are, they're not telling us about it.
How many astronomers that look through the other side of a wormhole?
Not many.
Yeah, well, they can see the wormhole or the black hole or whatever, but how many have seen through the other side? There are so many unseen things, veils, within our own galaxies, like dimensional veils and things like that. They exist there, but they're veils. You can't see them until they're ripped or some opening is made.
If you could change one thing on this planet, just one, what would that be?
Boy, sir, you'd have to give me some time to think about that.
That's a tough one, isn't it?
Sir, I don't think I'd change a thing. Now, doesn't that sound odd? Because if I wish the world to all be godly and good, then I know that in time they would turn out like those planets that are all godly and good and have forgotten God. I wouldn't want that. Here's Daddy who's made us, invented us. You are the I am, and do you want to forget it? No. You want to forget your own mom and dad if they've been decent? Do you want to quit sending Mom a I love you, happy Christmas? You know? You want to quit it? No, you love your mom, probably.
Of course.
Well, Yeah, but there's others that don't. But nevertheless, I don't think I changed a thing. I would ask that it was made easier on us as we go through change. But no, I think Papa's doing a pretty darn good job. And once we die, hey, what's a death? It's just a body laying down there, an old car gone to a graveyard.
So overall, not all bad on good old Mother Earth, huh?
Well, we could slow things down and be more, like I say, we can make houses and live in them with our mind. Why rape our mother? And so we can make it a paradise. And, sir, how long do we have to go? Because there is something that I truly want to get out.
We're going to go to a break, and then we're going to come back. We'll chat and take phone calls, okay?
How long to chat?
With whatever you need.
Okay, I mean, do we have 15 minutes?
Oh, sure, absolutely. We'll take 15 minutes for that.
Thank you, sir.
Stay with us. My guest is Red Elk. He doesn't want me to call him a philosopher, but he's pretty darn good about that. I'll be back in a moment on Coast to Coast. Don't go away. Welcome back to Coast to Coast. I'm George Norrie with Red Elk. Red Elk, how did you get the name, by the way? How did that all come about for you?
Sir, thank you for asking. First off, there are people with that last name. I am not related to them, as I know. It was done in a naming ceremony, a sacred naming ceremony.
Very good. Okay,
and it's not one I would have chosen, but when I found out what it really stood for, the opposite of Black Elk, who foretold the ways of the whites coming in and messing up the reds, and now it's changed, sir. It's the whites that are coming to the reds to learn sacred ways, a sacred walk, and it's changed. So the circle with the black running across right to left and the red going up and down and being interceded by the black, which represents the white, it's now changed. The red is now running across, interceding the whites. People are looking for spiritual growth, and they realize that our red people have it. Unfortunately, our red people have become so whitenized they don't have much except memory.
And what's left of memory, I guess, and what people can hand down.
Well, yes, but it's pretty sad when a guy that looks as white as the doughboy, when I can have to take a whole room of full-blooded Indians from 74 down to about 19 and teach them how to go and talk with nature, trees, rocks, the moon, whatever, actually teach them how to do it. That's pretty darn bad. They've lost so much.
Can they get it back?
Well, sure, I teach them. And now I tell them, now you know how to do it, go out and teach your others. Some medicine people know how to do this, no problem. They learned, just like I did, but no, they're hoarding it. They're in their damned ego.
Right before the top of the hour, you had some things that you wanted to say before we take some calls.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Number one, please, folks, I am still trying to finish 2001, December 2001 letters. I've got a stack of letters that they're not that high, but they go well above my ankle to prisoners and from prisoners, rather. I haven't been able to get to it. And that's just the prisoner. I've got boxes here. People have sent me something, I guess. I haven't had time to get into it. I'm only one man. And this one man goes out and one finger types on the computer to answer hundreds and hundreds of letters on a computer. And then I have to handwrite letters. And you would do me a great favor not writing anything. But, and then so many people, just one question. Oh my gosh, how many tunnels are there in Earth and exactly where are they? I want to know them all. And then don't even send a SAS. Don't even say a thank you. What a bunch of ingrate idiots.
Oh, I wouldn't call them idiots.
Well, they're pretty close to it. Actually, sir, I think the imbecile is smarter than us because they use all their brain for what they got, and we use so little of it. But they're just, give, and very little thank you. And I've run out of stamps. I've had to run out and buy stamps because I feel so bad about not answering a letter. And when I say sass anymore, you better believe it. No sass, and don't write me back saying, oh, I forgot your sass. I got to go through hundreds of letters to find out which one you had.
Well, and it's 37 cents, and if they don't do it, you'll go broke answering letters.
Sir, I am broke. I do sell things on my website. After I pay my webmaster, and he also makes these tapes professionally, and I give him 45%, then I keep my website going and stuff. I keep track of the money I'm making so I can pay Mr. Government, and I end up with $4.50 a tape. I am not a rich man. Right now I'm scrambling to get money to finish a roof, but that's not your problem. But nevertheless, don't write. Go out and buy Awakening Spirits by Tom Brown Jr., $14 or $12.98. Learn about duality of spirit. Pick up the Bible and quit. Just drop what you've learned and ask Dad to teach you. It's a personal letter, a whole book of letters to you, and ask Dad to teach you. And you're going to learn that a lot of the Christian things are right, but so much has been taught or not taught because Dad is teaching you. Tell me this. Here is a being that has taught us how to talk, think, learn how to write and read, and you got some dingbat up there in a pulpit telling you what he meant. Now, that's stupid, and you're allowing it. I'm not going to make friends here.
You're not going to make a lot of friends at all, Red.
No, I understand that, but sometimes, sir, you need to spank hard to make the children listen. And I put myself in a high position. Forgive me, but how else are they going to learn if they, it's not time to pussyfoot and scratch backs and whisper in ears. We're in for a hell of a time, and we can change it if we can only get our act together. And here in the near future, one of the big probabilities that are now looming on U.S. soil is a form of civil war against our government and each other, against color to color, talk to talk, speech to speech. You're not going to be safe on the streets. You won't be safe in your house. This is looming. And unless you get your act together and get right with the Creator and talk to Him, humanize Him, make Him Daddy, well, with great respect. Don't hold Him off into the, way in the kitchen. Run up and hug Him by the legs and say, hey, Papa, can I climb on your lap? Boy, what kind of parent would feel, how would you feel as a parent if your child who loves you stays there in the other, in the doorway and is afraid to come to you and give you a hug? It'd make you feel bad. And you are his kid. But, all right, that's what's looming there. Also, we have, and this is looming not shortly thereafter, a war. We're attacked by 5 armies or 5 separate nations, and we lose.
On this soil, you think?
On our soil, sir. Now, the East Coast is fought off only because the big wigs and the richies live over there, and they want to save their rear end. So they call, units from the coast, the center, and all coast, come and protect us, always thinking about them dang selves. And in so doing, weakening our coastline, and the armies come in through Texas, New Mexico, that big bunch of water there, whatever they call that part of the ocean. They come into to us like a hot knife in warm butter, And they come in through the Seattle and Oregon and down towards the upper part of California that way. They meet and they catch our armies on the east in the back while they're fighting in the front, and we lose. But we don't stay lost. I've watched the Creator's hand slap down on the army that now owns America 3 times. I don't know what he does, but I saw this great hand come down on our land 3 times, slap it. And the 3rd time, those armies were doing everything to get off of American soil. They were grabbing scooters, bicycles, everything. They were going crazy to get away. I don't know what he does. But we lose a lot of people, both civilians and military. We lose. And when they leave, we're not the same United States that we were before.
Are we better?
Well, we are not a leading country anymore. Are we better? I really don't know. But we're sure a heck of a lot less. But that looms ahead. And then all of it looms ahead to one thing, Armageddon. And we are now Nineveh, like in the Old Testament. Nineveh was going to be, wiped out in 3 days. But they repented. That word means turned away from sin. Sin means disobedience to God. They turned away from being a disobedient child to God. So he didn't have it happen like he said it would be. It was put off to the future. And we can do the same, but only if we realize that we are God's child. Each of us is one child. And we are brothers and sisters from the same mind womb. And when you learn that and the awe of it, despite what you've been doing, are doing, thinking of doing, God loves you. Big Daddy loves you. Maybe it'll make you stop and think about it, and you'll get right with Dad. And then when you get right with Dad, you can get right there in your own house, and then the neighbors, and then the cities, and then the country, and then the whole world, and we can unite as one, despite our differences of going to God. It's the same God.
You know the old saying, Red Elk, if 1 tells 3 and 3 tell 3 and on and on and on, something could happen.
That's true, sir. But in this case, it's more than talk. Metakuiawashin, one relation, the Indians say. Christians, agape love, all forgiving, never condemning love. And they talk it. Sir, their tongues are loose. They're not connected to their hearts. The Hebrews, they run up and down talking God, 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 and have been doing so for centuries. And they wonder what happens to them when they go to these terrible things that they go through. Why? Why does it happen? Because their tongues are not connected to their hearts. It's all talk. It's time to, when you say metakuiawashin, it doesn't mean we are one relation today. It means if you're doing it my way. When you say agape love, if you're doing it my way. And when you get back to the truth of it, connect that tongue to the heart. Understand we all have our own cultural ways of talking to Papa, going to different means, churches, voodoo, a Muslim. It's the same Creator that we're reaching out to. Leave us alone and get there. But remember, we are one, really. And get your own act together. Learn to love yourself because Daddy loves you. And then that love spreads to everybody else, hopefully. And Nineveh, the world is Nineveh, can put off the future to some stupid generation that's going to fall back, just like the Old Testament Nineveh did. We're in for a hell of a time unless we get our act together and join in love, in true metakuiawashin.
And I'm afraid it's going to be sooner than later.
Well, sir, if we can join, let's hope that's soon. If what's coming, well, I'm afraid you're right, if we don't join.
Let's go to some calls, Red.
Sir, I've got a couple things I'd like to say before, okay?
Well, let's real quick. I'm going to give you real quick because they're lining up right now. They want to talk with you.
All right, first, don't believe a word I say. Don't do it. Check it. All right, check it. Check it in prayer. Check it in heart. 2nd, I was to be in L.A. this coming month, and I've had to cancel. But the event is still going on. Taskara is a medicine man of Mayan ancestry, and boy, he knows his stuff. Eric Parker is the other speaker, and he's Zechariah Sticken, webmaster.
Sure.
But anyway, I've had to pull out.
You won't be there.
Right. Now, November the 2nd of this coming month, I'll be in Seattle speaking. You'll find all of that in the website. And, sir, there is a magic place in O'Brien, Oregon. And that is a very small link, brand new link on my website. And this is run by people who mentally repair, military people who, flashbacks and stuff.
Sure.
And I mean, they repair them. And they also do other healing. It's the main unit is, or rather, the main healer is Fawn Journey Hawk. And she's a Shawnee healer, and boy, I just got back from her, and boy, that blows my mind.
All right, but all that's on your website?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go to some calls. First-time caller out there in Illinois on the road. You are on Coast to Coast with Red Elk. Go ahead.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you doing tonight?
Good.
Good.
My name's Howard. I'm out here on the road in Chicago, Illinois. I just want to take a second to say hi to all my friends out in cyberspace who know me as Digital Trucker. But I just got a couple questions for Red Elk, and then I'll hang up.
Sure.
First of all, when you're talking about reality being a dream, I was wondering if, after thinking about it, wouldn't it be a little bit more accurate to say that perhaps reality is where all our dreams kind of meet or intersect? And the second question has to do with, you were talking about levitation and lizard people and that sort of thing, and I was wondering if you had any sort of photographic or other evidence for that sort of thing. That's all I got, and you guys have a good night.
Okay, let's take that one first, Red Elk.
I have photographs of a lizard. As for flying, no photographs, but go to my website, go to the guest page, and find out what they say on it. And no, I have no photographs of that. As for the first thing, sir, I tell you, when you go to sleep and you have a lucid dream, and a lucid dream is one that you can control, and what you're doing, sir, are having a lucid dream while you are living in a lucid dream. Sir, what I said, I stand by. We are in a lucid dream with unity, let alone by ourselves, and we can change everything that we're rolling into with unity and understanding this is dream. And we shape-shift. We do all kinds of things. Christ did all kinds of things. He recognized that he could work the dream. That's what we do. So I've given it out to the listeners, and I give, no, I'm no philosopher. I go by facts. I know what I'm talking about. And with no, I do mean big K-N-O-W. Not this know of a knowledge of it. I know it. I've experienced it. Okay?
And as far as that picture, do you have a picture of a lizard person on your website by any chance?
I have a picture that looks like any other human, but I can show you why it's a lizard. And I've seen other pictures. Just recently, some people were showing me a wedding picture of a whole group, a family group. And I looked at that and I said, that one there's a lizard. And they said, what do you mean? And I showed them what to look for, and it turned out this one man, an in-law, son-in-law, has done nothing but troubles and has been a pain in the rear to everybody in the family.
And he's the lizard.
He's a lizard.
Stay with us, Red Elk, and your phone calls continuing. I'm George Norrie, and this is Coast to Coast AM. With your Red Elk, you went on a fast. How many days and why did you do that?
69 days, but understand it was a liquid fast including vitamins. I felt led to do it in that time, sir. Over a 3-day period, I was giving what I call my great vision. And it was such a vision, I bawled like a baby and wanted to throw up.
Jeez.
I saw so much things happening to our own country. I saw, now, if this is true or just symbolic, I don't know, but black-covered freight trains filled with bodies coming from the east and dropping them off in the Badlands, in the Great Auroras, filling them up with bodies due to weather changes, starvation, sickness, wars, children, old people, middle age, it didn't matter. And it just kept coming and coming and coming and coming. And, sir, I asked the Creator three times, really, to show that to me no more. And danged if He didn't disobey me. And, oh, Gad, I begged down at some people's house, just at their table. They wanted me to write a book about what I've seen. And I bawled like a baby, and I made a fool of myself. And, again, I wanted to throw up. The guile was in my throat. It was just that horrible. And we can change that, sir. When the sun, the stars, the moon turn to red or a deep, deep orange for a number of days, the Bible talks about it, our own Indian prophecies speak of it, then, sir, our probabilities are locked onto the one that leads to Armageddon. If we can protect ourselves by loving ourselves, loving Daddy, getting on his lap, punch him in the nose and ask him, you want to wrestle, make him humanized but with great respect. Get that close to Daddy or Mommy or whatever you want to call this he, she, which is nothing more than a living entity of pure love. Then, sir, we can change it. Until then, sir, we're just rolling right along.
You know, Red Elk, there was a story I had on tonight which claims that if we continue with contributing to global warming, hundreds of millions of people will be at risk from disease, starvation, and water shortages.
Oh, you say tonight?
Tonight, and I sure hope that's not some of the things you saw.
I'm afraid, sir, it is. But I didn't hear your thing that you're speaking of.
Yeah, that was at the open. Let's go to some more calls, Red Elk.
Oh.
Wildcard caller, welcome. You are on Coast to Coast with my guest, Red Elk. Go ahead.
Hello, George.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Mr. Elk, this is indeed a privilege, sir. I have two questions for you. These lizard reptilian beings, were they our creators, who are better known as the Anunnaki?
Oh, gee, no. Absolutely not. The Anunnakis don't even look like lizards. The lizards, sir, are our brothers. They have souls. They were created just as we were, but in their form for their land, their planet. The Anunnakis, sir, as it is known, are another race of aliens. But the ones that we call Anunnaki, most people think of the Anunnaki Indians. Those, sir, were traveling slaves. That's why they disappeared. Time to take them to another planet.
Okay. Are these the same bloodline as the leading politicians and leaders of our governments and our nations?
Sir, to be honest with you, understand we have the bloodlines of every alien race since the beginning of humanity. And some have more of one kind than another. And, sir, leaders in our military, in our police force, in our politicians, usually, most have more of the black side. They themselves mostly, I cannot prove it, but I do know it, and I mean with a big no, that they themselves are working with and or for the full-blood lizards. And, sir, we have no fear except fear. And if we show no fear, any little gray that comes in to try to steal you away, and that does happen, anything, even Lucifer himself, with no fear and purity of love, shoot, do you know, sir, we have control over every angel, everyone. And here's Lucifer, who set up even the grays and the gargoyles and the lizards. He set them up. And we have the ability to command that twit to get the H out of here.
Good for you. You know, there's one word I didn't hear you talk about tonight, Red Elk, and that was greed. The word greed. How much does that affect things?
Sir, my hearing seems bad. Did you say greed with a G-R-E-E-D or
yes,
greed?
Yes, greed.
How much does it affect it?
Yep.
Well, sir, greed is ego gone berserk. And that is what you have with the lizards and the other three, or two of the three. Really, the grays are not really that bad, except they teamed up for another reason. But it is the greed to feed ego, to be God, big G. And listen carefully. Within the worst of groups, the unholy four, they are backbiting and fighting for position to be the top of the big four. And within each of those groups, they are fighting amongst themselves, so that they, in the long run, you come out with the king of everything, the big God. And it's not God at all, it's just a dumb dip to it that doesn't know his arse from a hole in the ground, doesn't know that God is there. We'll teach them. That's what this is all about.
You'll get there. West of the Rockies, welcome to Coast with guest Red Elk. You're on the air. Hi.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Thank you for taking my call, George.
Sure thing. My pleasure.
I know we don't have much time, and I just wanted to comment that Art couldn't have picked a better guy to take over his show, I guess, is what I heard.
Well, thank you.
And you just spoke of the subject. I respect Red Elk for everything he has said over the past couple of years. I've been listening to the show, and every time he's on, he intrigues me. Me personally, I'm ashamed to be a white person, you know, due to the fact of what it amounts to. But a little bit earlier in the show, he said, what would there be that could change the world? That if he could change the world, what would it be? Mm-hmm. My bottom line is money.
Greed.
There's my bottom line.
Sure. By the way, don't be ashamed to be what you are, because you didn't do that. You are who you are, and I think that's a good thing.
Thank you.
In truth, sir, none of us have a choice of our blood color. You know, there should be no pride in our line.
You're right.
We didn't sit up there and say, I want to be white, I want to be Indian, I want to be Chinese. Nope. Dad made that decision. We didn't have a thing to do with it.
Absolutely. Let's go to some more callers. East of the Rockies, welcome to Coast. You're on the air. Hi there.
Hey, George.
Yes, sir.
Great show, man.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say what prompted me to call you guys. I never thought I'd get in here. I'm a security guard. I'm working overnight in Albany. We recently had that flyby of the...
Oh, yeah. That was some great video on that thing.
Yeah, it's known as an optical anomaly now. That's what they're saying. But you said Planet X in May?
He did, I didn't.
Well, in May of next year, there are some people who believe Planet X is going to come rolling around. Okay. I don't happen to believe that will happen in that time period.
Right. Well, since I've been a child, I've been able to astral project and been a lucid dreamer, and have had precognitive dreams. Well, I had a vision years before anyone knew about Planet X that this huge planet, bluish, took up 2/3 of the sky, was coming down past the Earth, and the gravitational effect was causing forests to shatter and catch on fire. It wasn't a pretty sight.
And that sounds about right, too, my brother.
Yeah, well, I wanted to say to you, sir, that I'm hearing you, and I appreciate your words, brother. And, Red Elk, I was curious, have you ever met Carlos Castaneda?
No, well, yes and no.
Okay.
One of my teachers, but of spirit and in spirit only.
Exactly, yeah, same here. I was just curious, George, maybe you guys could have him on the show, possibly.
That's a good idea.
Okay, man, hey, I love your show, and Red Elk, peace, brother.
Yeah, don't believe a word I say. Check
Hey,
it.
well, I know what you're saying, man. Take care.
Well, you know, Red Elk.
Mess if people would check.
I'll tell you, you say that you've got some people out there that have chastised you and attacked you and stuff, but
I deserve it. I come on and tell the truth, and it's pretty hard. When you tell people their tongue is not tied to their heart, and you talk about the Hebrews, the Indians, the Muslims, the Christians, Voodooists, and everything else, and I mean all of them. Our tongues are not connected to the heart. You can talk all you want, but it's nothing but trash to daddy.
can you still be a good person and believe in other religions?
Sure. Hey, Christianity has not got a hold on the world. Christ was an example to what man can do if he's right or she is right with the Creator. He worked at it. He hungered to know the Father of his people, his Father. And that hunger, sir, was just like Ford hungering to know how to get away from cleaning horse poop all winter long and freezing behind a horse. And Edison hungered to know electricity. He had that hunger. And that's where he started to learn. He wanted to know if this God of this Father of his people was a bunch of BS or not, because he did not want to follow BS.
All right, first-time caller, your turn. You're on Coast to Coast. Hi there.
Howdy, greetings, gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
So little time, so much to discuss. Thank you very much for being here. I'll try to be succinct, if not exceedingly brief. When I was I'm a 43-year-old person. When I was 16 years old, I had an experience with a hallucinogenic drug for the first time, and very much contrary to what I expected, the very first thing I experienced with it was something that seemed to be, at the time, incredibly obvious, and that was that we're all the children of God. When Jesus said we're the Son of God, he was right, but that we all are that, and that just most people don't feel that way most of the time, and therefore totally misinterpreted what he had to say.
Amen.
That just seemed like the most obvious thing that there was, but somehow nobody, including myself, saw it 99% of the time. I could discuss with you a massive UFO sighting ahead, but rather, in the brief time, I had a series of dreams before 9/11, some of which comport with the destruction you were talking about, and they were absolutely terrifying. Since then, I've had terrible insomnia. When 9/11 happened, I have a clock radio that woke me up that day, and I'd been waking up from one dream into another, which was a very bizarre experience. And when the clock radio went off and I heard 9/11 going on, I was actually angry at first. I said, "Oh, damn it, I've woken up into another one of these damn dreams." And when I hadn't, I realized that the stuff I was seeing in dreams had kind of crossed out from the dreams and into the waking world, and I realized there was no escaping it. I think you're absolutely right in a number of things you say, and a lot of things you say. I don't believe that anybody has the ultimate perspective besides perhaps God, but some of us have a much greater handle on it. And I would like offer this simple prayer to the people maybe listening at this hour, or a simple thought form, or I'm not sure the difference really, but just that we focus and concentrate on people and humanity waking up and coming to our senses, and you needn't put it into any specific form of what coming to our senses means, but that simple thing, I think, will potentially help us find our way there. And
what do you think about that,
Red Elk? More, but there are other people who want to call.
Sure.
And you probably want to comment in the closing moments of the show. Thank you very much for being here. Come back.
What do you think of that, Red Elk? Coming to our senses.
Sir, Scripture says, ye are as gods, with a little g. Sir, we have only 3 limitations. We cannot be God, big G, but we can be godly. We cannot be Satan, which is really Lucifer's second in command. But we cannot be Satan, but we can be satanic. We cannot be Christ, but we can be Christ-like. Anything at all that you can believe in and use your 5 senses to connect to, you can do. You can shape-shift. You can change this dream. You can do anything you want. All I know is what God wants is what I want, and That's to not harm others, not to use it for greedy purposes, no ego, just to make a life a paradise. Not just for me, but for all. You are all my holograms. And this dang dream has gotten out of hand. I got to control it, and you got to control it.
Red Elk, if we took the philosophy as a nation that we were going to stop being an aggressor, do you think that there'd be peace, or do you think people would take advantage of us?
People would take advantage of us. This has got to be a world movement. Otherwise, we'll die in a peaceful manner like those of the Maori people over in New Zealand who lined up and let the bad guys kill them when they knew the bad guys were coming instead of running. There is a famous story.
I've got 2 minutes. What would you like to say to people before we wrap up?
Well, sir, everyone, darn it, get rid of your fear. That is what is controlling you in everything. Start being self-thinkers. And go to daddy. I don't care if it's not daddy, if it's mommy, whatever. This being is anything you want it to be as long as it's centered with pure love. Let the other people go to daddy the way that they want, as long as they're doing you or no one any harm. And it's morally right. That's their way. None of this BS about matakui oashin, agape love, as long as you do it my way. That's why we had Taliban. The Muslims are not that bad of people at all. But they have a denomination that's got off the track. Now, I would like to make an announcement for the world, if they would. We got the time.
You have 30 seconds.
All right. There are many eagles that have been meeting for many years, drawing little lines. That line is now connected. There will be meetings of eagles, what they call, I don't know, meetings of eagles is the wrong word. But soon, in, I believe, around Blue Mountain, Oregon, all the eagles will come. It will be a migration. And I call you to start collecting your pennies, nickels, dimes, dollars, and those who can't make it and are not an eagle in a sense, but you collect it for those you know who should go.
All right, that's Red Elk. Thank you, Red Elk. Appreciate you being on the show.
I thank you.
It's a different coast to coast, but one that kind of makes you think, huh? For Will Hilliard, Rondi Bussinger, Lisa Lyon, Daylani Conrad, Howard Morton, our Reb Master, Keith Rowland, Alan Corbett, and of course Art Bell, I'm George Norrie. Somewhere out there, and Coast to Coast AM.